Local authorities say hotel guests reported a romantic conflict between the couple, prompting management to move McCann to a separate room. A few hours later, authorities say she was found unresponsive in her room by hotel staff.
I did receive a phone call from Joe. He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital, and that he told me that she was stable.
After receiving treatment at 2 hospitals, Robinson was declared deceased. Authorities are still questioning McCann and confiscated his passport while they wait for the medical examiner's report.
The autopsy is done. The results exist somewhere in a building in Tanzania, and Ashlee's family has no idea what they say. Think about what that means for a second. A father got on a plane to Washington, D.C., not to grieve, not to plan a funeral, not to gather with people who love his daughter, but to walk into a government building and beg someone, anyone, to help him find out how his child died. He sat in those halls and told reporters, "We're here, helpless. We're here, helpless. No one wants to talk to us. Just let us know what happened. That's the only thing we want to know, is the truth." That man's daughter has been dead for over a week. Her body is still in Tanzania. He cannot bring her home. And the man who was the last person connected to her is sitting in Zanzibar, passport confiscated, telling police he's just a witness, while Ashlee's mother is in New Jersey waiting to find out what killed her child. But here is what just changed everything in this case: the hospital records. Because what they say does not match what Joe McCann told anyone. Before we get into that, if you are watching this and you believe that Ashlee's story deserves every set of eyes it can get, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to 3 a.m. Files. Turn on the bell. You being here is not passive. You are part of the pressure that keeps cases like this from being closed quietly in a country where nobody is watching. Don't scroll past. Stay in. Now, let's talk about what those records actually say. Ashlee was transported to not 1, but 2 hospitals. The first hospital noted something on its intake documents that has been circulating online since investigative reporter Savannah Britt shared it publicly. The record described an unidentified mark around Ashlee's neck. It noted she had been found hanging from a door, and then it said that she was transferred. At the second hospital, the one that officially confirmed her death, a report obtained by Philadelphia ABC affiliate WBI listed her immediate cause of death as cerebral hypoxia due to strangulation and suffocation. Cerebral hypoxia. That means her brain was deprived of oxygen, and the mechanism listed, strangulation and suffocation, is not synonymous with hanging yourself from a door with a piece of fabric. Not medically, not forensically. Strangulation typically implies external force applied to the neck. It is a word that forensic pathologists use carefully, and the fact that it appears in an official hospital document alongside the word suffocation, that is not nothing. That is a detail that demands an explanation. The police version says she used a piece of cloth from her dress to hang herself in a wardrobe. Then that version changed. A belt, then a door. The object and location have shifted across different reports. The cause of death document does not shift. It says strangulation and suffocation. Hold that, because we're not done. Let's talk about the window. The 2 to 3 hour window that nobody is talking about loudly enough. According to witness testimony from hotel staff and other guests, Joe McCann and Ashlee Robinson had been fighting, not just on the night of April 8th, but repeatedly from the moment they checked in on April 4th. Multiple witnesses, multiple disturbances reported by other guests staying at that resort. A couple who appeared to the outside world as freshly engaged and blissfully in love was behind closed doors, fighting consistently across multiple days. On the night of April 8th, the argument escalated to the point where the hotel security team made a decision. They moved McCann to a separate villa, not across the hall, not a room down the corridor, a separate villa described as a 10-minute walk away from where Ashlee was staying. They moved him that far because they were concerned enough about what was happening between these two people to put significant physical distance between them. Ashlee called her mother while this was happening. Her mother, Yolanda Denise Endres, confirmed this publicly. Ashlee picked up her phone during one of the most frightening nights of her life and called home. That is not the behavior of someone who has retreated into a private spiral of despair. That is someone reaching out, someone who is present, someone who is afraid or angry or both. and who wanted her family to know what was happening. 2 to 3 hours after that separation, a hotel worker found Ashlee unresponsive. Not McCann, not a security guard he brought with him, a hotel worker. Now compare that to what McCann told Ashlee's father. He said that at some point he returned to check on her, accompanied by a security guard, and that is how she was found. But the CBS News report, sourced from police, says a hotel worker found her. These are different people. These are different versions of the same moment. And in a case where the cause of death involves strangulation and suffocation, the question of exactly who found her when and what the scene looked like when they walked in, that is not a minor inconsistency. That is the center of the entire investigation. The family knows this. That is why they are fighting to get the hotel surveillance footage. Because surveillance cameras in a resort of that caliber do not lie. They record who enters a room, when they leave. If that footage exists and is preserved, it would show the movements of everyone on that property during those critical hours. The family has publicly stated they are pushing for access to it. As of now, they have not received it. And Joe McCann has said nothing, not one public word about any of this. Think about the psychology of that silence. This is a man who, by his own profession, built an entire career on public communication. He ran a hedge fund. He spoke at industry events. He posted regularly on X about AI, crypto, investment strategy. He was not a private, reclusive person by nature. He chose to be visible when visibility served him. And now, in the moment when the woman he proposed to is dead and her family is publicly asking him to tell the truth, silence. Complete, sustained, deliberate silence. There is a name for what we are observing in that silence, and it sits at the intersection of psychology and behavior analysis. It is called strategic withdrawal. When someone who is normally communicative goes entirely dark in the aftermath of a traumatic or suspicious event, it is rarely because they are simply too grief-stricken to speak. Grief does not produce calculated social media cleanups. Grief does not produce the deletion of photos. Grief does not produce a man tweeting about an AI success story in Thailand on the morning of the day his fiancée's family says she was found unconscious. What produces those behaviors is a different kind of mental state entirely. One focused not on processing loss, but on controlling a narrative. Now here's what we have to be honest about, because this is 3 a.m. files, and we do not trade in speculation dressed up as fact. Joe McCann has not been charged with anything. He is legally a witness. Tanzanian authorities have stated clearly that they are not pursuing legal action against him at this time. The investigation is ongoing. The autopsy results, whatever they say in full, have not been publicly released. We do not know what those results will ultimately confirm or contradict, but what we do know is this. A 31-year-old woman is dead. Her body is being held in a foreign country. Her father flew to Washington to beg for answers and came home with none. The hospital record lists strangulation and suffocation. Multiple witnesses say the fighting had been happening for days. The couple was separated with a 10-minute walk of physical distance between them. Ashlee called her mother while it was happening. 2 to 3 hours later, she was found by a hotel worker. The location and method have changed across multiple official accounts. And the man at the center of all of it is sitting in Zanzibar, passport confiscated, saying nothing. Joe McCann was 45. Ashlee was 31. He was a crypto fund manager whose primary liquid trading fund had lost 78% of its value the year before. She was a woman with over 130,000 followers building a public life around financial independence and the soft life. And in 2024, after his divorce, before this engagement, he posted publicly about having a wife and 2 very young children. That post has never been explained. He has never addressed it. What does it mean? We genuinely don't know. What we know is that the version of Joe McCann that Ashlee showed her followers, the safari proposal, the birthday rose petals, the kissing giraffe video, and the version that witnesses at the Zuri Zanzibar experience across 5 days of repeated arguments were not the same portrait of a man. Ashlee's sister Alyssa, who is 20 years old, said this publicly, and I wanted to sit with it. She was beautiful inside and out. All she could bring was life to everyone. She was also not afraid to reach for what she wanted. She built a platform. She documented joy. She called her mother from Tanzania in the middle of the night to say she and her fiancé had been fighting, and they were moved to separate rooms. She was still fighting. She was still connected. She was still here. And then she wasn't. So here's where I want to ask you, and I want you to take this seriously. When you think about the 2 to 3 hour window between that separation and when she was found, what do you think happened in that room? When you hear the word strangulation on a document that a hospital filed the night she died, and then you hear a police commander say she used a piece of cloth from her dress to hang herself, does that feel like the same event to you? And what does it say about the systems meant to protect American women abroad that a father has to fly to Washington, D.C. and stand in a hallway begging to know how his daughter died? Drop your theory in the comments. Tell me what detail bothers you the most. Tell me what you think happened in that villa. And tell me this. Do you think the surveillance footage from that hotel will ever be fully released? We are not letting this case go. We are going to stay on it until there are answers that actually make sense. Subscribe to 3 a.m. Files. Click that bell, because the hour when the world sleeps is exactly when the truth gets buried. And we are not sleeping.